and welcome to another Demon 212 3DS VC review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Game Boy Color title, The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, which if you've never played it before, it's I suppose your typical Zelda game, but there is something unique about it, and it's the fact that I was also trying to decide whether or not to do both together, is the uniqueness. Because instead of getting one Zelda game, which at the time was rare, we'd get one every few years or so, we actually got two on the same day, Oracle of Seasons being the other one. And it's a shame because there should have been a third one, and there were plans to do a third one, and I can't even remember what the plan to call it, but they couldn't get it off the ground. The gimmick they had for it just didn't work, and it's unfortunate because I would have killed to have had a third one as well. But obviously that was kind of being greedy because, again, I mean, we got one game for the first time in a few years, and then all of a sudden we get two games together instead. It was just amazing. I was never actually too keen on Ages back when I first got it. I didn't click with me. Seasons did, I absolutely adored it, but Ages, I just couldn't get away with it. So when the VC versions came out, I still bought both, and I actually ended up really enjoying Ages. I couldn't believe how much I did enjoy it, because of how much I had originally got bored by it. So, two Zelda games, you might be thinking, where's the twist? The twist is that you used to be able to link up. Now you can link up via a password, but you used to be able to do a physical link cable in the back of your Game Boy, and, well, to be fair, in the top of your Game Boy, I think it was. It's just now that there's a second screen, I suppose that's technically not the top anymore, that's the back, because when you open it, it's no longer the top. And apologies for my neighbour's dog, it's been doing that all day, and hopefully it won't do it throughout the rest of the video. I've already had to start this once before. So, you used to be able to link up and do a bit of a data trade, and it allowed you to get some special things, like you could get some special rings, I believe. You could get a level 3 sword, which was just like a beast. You could get a level 3 shield, which was a beast as well. Obviously, a less of a beast, because the sword was offensive and the shield defensive. And you can still get it by doing the password, but I haven't actually got around to playing the game again on the password version, because you start the game, and then you get the password, and then you start the game again using that password. So it's not one of them that you can beat both and then enter your password and just get the items. You have to beat it again. And when you do that, it also gives you something else. Because it's giving you the new sword and shield to make you better, it gives you more of a challenge, except it gives you less of a challenge. It was designed to be more of a challenge, but pretty much everyone agrees that the two bosses that you get, which one's Twin Rover and one's Ganon, they're actually a hell of a lot easier than the boss of Seasons itself. So it's one of those that in one case it does give you a bit of a harder boss, because it's I think it's in Ages case, obviously, because I can't remember if you get Ganon or Twin Rover in Ages. I think it's Ganon in Ages and Twin Rover in Seasons, and in Seasons case it gives you an easier boss for doing it. In Ages it gives you a harder boss. But there's nothing much I could actually really say about the link up other than what I've already said. It was a cool feature for the time. It gave you a lot more gameplay, gave you more reason to play through the game, and it was just, well, cool, I suppose. It had never been done before, and now it has, and it's probably never going to get done again. I don't see them doing another two Zeldas where you can transfer your data between your 3DSs in Street Pass or something, you know? And I'd love to see it, but I don't think it will. So, I've mentioned pretty much everything kind of about the link up. Now to mention just the basic bare bones stuff about Zelda, really. You go through the overworld, you solve quests, you go through the whole rigmarole that you expect. You get to the first dungeon, and then you go through, and you've got 8 dungeons overall. Then you've got the final boss, which isn't really the final boss, because the link up boss is the final boss. And it's just one of those things that it's a pretty lengthy game. Both of them are, to be fair, but the Ages is pretty lengthy. It's really well designed. As I say, I just didn't appreciate it when I was younger, but as I've got older, I've thought, well, actually, that does work really well, and it has been done well. You've got mini games you've got to solve to unlock special items, and there's a game in the Goron City, and this isn't so much a spoiler. But you might want to turn off if you absolutely don't want to know anything about an ancient game. There's a game in the Goron City, you've got to play it in order to get a key to go into one of the dungeons, except there's a key for the past version of the dungeon and the present version for the dungeon, and it's just really cool how that works. Obviously, you then get an item from doing the dungeon, and you also get items along the way that aren't from dungeons, because there's only 8 dungeons overall, but as you can see, I've got 14 items. Sorry, 12 items even, adding 2 on there. And it's because you get a couple outside. There's special horns that you can get which call for different creatures, and there's 3 creatures overall, and depending on what you do depends on what creature you get. I do believe all 3 are present in both games, like the horns at least. I think all 3 are present in both games, but it depends on how you do it and how you work around, depends on who you get. There's a bear, and the bear actually has wings and it allows you to do a floaty jump. There's a kangaroo that can punch, and there's a sea lizard type thing that can swim in the sea. They're not really that useful. I mean, they're useful for the puzzles at hand. You get them at certain parts of the game and you've got to do things with them, and it solves things like that. But once you actually get the horn to call forth upon them at any point, I don't see people using it, because you do obviously get items anywhere throughout the game that pretty much allow you to bypass everything that they can do. It's only really 1 or 2 areas that you'd ever need to use the bear, because there's multiple holes together and you can't jump over 2 holes in a row with the feather that you get. But it's just one of those. It's nice to have them, and if you're a completionist, you're going to want to get them. One of the big unique things about this game overall, about the 2 of them to be fair, is you've already heard us mention you can get different rings for doing a link up. Well, there's actually a load of different rings in the game anyway, and they all do different things. There's ones that turn you into an enemy, so it's kind of like camouflage, I suppose. There's ones that give you more power, there's ones that give you more defense, there's ones that make you luckier with finding things, there's one that allow you to find hidden seed plants, like soil. You've got to plant seeds to get the rings, so there's like soil patches to plant the seeds, and one of the rings allows you to find them when they're hidden. So you'll walk onto the screen and it'll make a noise, and then you'll know that you've got to start digging up with your shovel to try and find the hidden location, and that then allows you to plant a seed, and then planting that seed then gives you a ring, and you go on through and just try and get as many as you can, but they're not overly important. There's some people say that you can only beat certain bosses with certain rings, and I just don't believe that, because I have pretty much managed to beat both games without ever even using a ring that helps you. I tend to put a ring on that like does something daft, like I can plant 2 bombs at once, so when I get a bomb puzzle it makes it faster. And I never really go for the power of the defense rings, because I never really collect them. I can't really be bothered with just constantly going around and waiting for them. I'd rather just work on and beat the game. And if I come up to a boss that's hard, well, great. It just means it's going to last me a bit longer and give me a bit more of a challenge. As well as everything else that I've mentioned, and I know I've already mentioned a huge amount of stuff, it's, again, standard Zelda with a heart piece system. You get a heart from beating a dungeon. You can get heart pieces, which increase your total heart count. There's heart pieces that you can only get via a link up as well. I think it's something like you can get 16 hearts total, but only if you do specific conditions with linking up. Obviously, you've got to get rupees in order to buy stuff, and that's pretty much all I can really mention about the game. It's just one of those things. If you've never played them before, I strongly recommend you get them. And there's a lot of people that say, well, which one should I get? There is no which one should I get. You get both. Unfortunately, it really is one of those things that you have to get both in order to get the full story, in order to experience it. They're totally different games. The link up's just a little bit of it. They don't have the same dungeons. Yes, they've got the same enemies and sometimes the same layouts of things. I mean, like, they don't have different tree designs or anything, you know, anything unique like that, I suppose. It is all the same stuff, pretty much copy and pasted graphically from even the original Game Boy one, which then became the Game Boy Color remake of Link's Awakening. There's a lot of the same designs, but they've done that in order to give you totally unique dungeons every time and totally unique side quests and unique puzzles, and it really is cool playing through both of them, but you do have to play through both of them. There really isn't, as I say, a case of playing one over the other. You'll like one better than the other, but you'll still be glad that you bought both, I think. Even back when I hated ages, I was still glad that I bought both, and now I'm really glad that I bought both because I've been able to enjoy ages again. So I think that really is all I can say. I think I've waffled on more than long enough, so on to doing my seasons review. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, If you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.